I would like to just begin by saying I am having a wonderful year, and I want to thank you and your colleagues, they know who they are, for your hospitality and your kindness to me. I think the life of the writer is largely being alone in a room, and somehow being over there in Byerly in a place with lots of other people alone in their rooms is kind of great. And I had always thought one of the reasons I was a writer was that I didn't really like people. And I come to see that I actually like some people. So I just want to thank you very much. So I thought what I would do tonight is read a handful of older poems and then read a couple brand new poems written over there in Byerly, and then read from my book, which is just out. I just received a copy on Monday, and I'd like to acknowledge that by reading from it. This poem is set up in the Adirondacks, where I like to go in the summer whenever possible. It begins up there, and then there's a little flashback in the middle of it, and then it returns. Concludes up there. Twilight. There's a black bear in the apple tree, and he won't come down. I can hear him panting like an athlete. I can smell the stink of his body. Come down, black bear. Can you hear me? The mind is the most interesting thing to me. Like the sudden death of the sun, it seems implausible that darkness will swallow it, or that anything is lost forever there. Like a black bear in a fruit tree, gulping up sour apples with dry, sucking sounds. Or, like us at the pier, somber and tired, making food from sunlight, you saying a word, me saying a word, trying hard, though things were disintegrating. Still, I wanted you, your lips on my neck, your postmodern sexuality. Forlorn and anonymous, I didn't want to be that. I could hear the great barking monsters of the lower waters calling me forward. You see, my mind takes me far, but my heart dreams of return. Black bear with pale pink tongue at the center of his face is turning his head like the face of Christ from life. Shaking the apple boughs, he is stronger than I am and seems so free of passion. No fear, no pain, no tenderness. I want to be that. Come down, black bear. I want to learn the faith of the indifferent. These next two poems are for my father and my mother. I always like to read poems to them at the beginning of my readings. This poem is called Oil and Steel. Just to frame it a little, let me say that my father grew up in North Carolina in the Sandhills there, where his parents were sharecroppers who grew peaches and tobacco. So he finished a high school education. Oil and Steel. My father lived in a dirty dish mausoleum, watching a portable black and white television, reading the Encyclopedia Britannica which he preferred to modern fiction. One by one, his schnauzers died of liver disease, except the one that guarded his corpse, found holding a tumbler of Bushmills. Dead is dead, he would say, an anti-preacher. I took a plaid shirt from the bedroom closet and some motor oil, my inheritance. Once I saw him weep in a courtroom, neglected, needing nursing, this man who never showed me much affection, but gave me a knack for solitude, which has been mostly useful. My mother was born a French woman in Marseille, and then when she was 20, she came to the U.S., and she spent, 55 years trying to be an American woman. And then at the very end of her life, she completely reverted to being a French woman again, only speaking French. This poem is called Sunflower. When Mother and I first had the do not resuscitate conversation, she lifted her head like a drooped sunflower and said, "Those dying always want to stay." Months later, on the kitchen table, Mars red gladiolas sang Ode to Joy, and we listened. Houseflies swooped and veered around us like the Holy Spirit. Nature is always expressing something human, Mother commented, her mouth twisting as I plucked whiskers from around it. Yes, no, please. Tenderness was not yet dust. Mother sat up, rubbed her eyes drowsily, her breaths like breakers, the living man, the beach. This is another one set up there in the Adirondacks. In many of my poems, I think the mind engages with an animal or a plant, and then tries to extract some knowledge from that experience and then move forward towards some fresh idea. And that's the idea here and in several of these creaturely poems. This is called Hens, where I took care of a flock of hens up there one summer. It's good for the ego when I call and they come running, squawking, and clucking, because it's feed time, and once again I can't resist picking up little Lazarus, an orange and white pullet I adore. Yes, yes, everything will be okay, I say to her glaring mongrel face. Come September, she'll begin to lay the blue-green eggs I love poached. God dooms the snake to taste nothing but the dust, and the hen to 4,000 or so ovulations. Poor Lazarus. Last spring an intruder murdered her sisters and left her garroted in the coop. There's a way the wounded light up a dark rectangular space. Suffering becomes the universal theme. Too soft, and you'll be squeezed. Too hard, and you'll be broken. Even a hen knows this, posing on a manure pile, her body a stab of gold. think I'll read one more older poem. Feels like 30 minutes have gone by and just 9 minutes have gone by. So, thinking, what am I going to do? Let's see. So let's see. This poem is called Beach Walk. It conflates really two experiences I had on the beach down in Florida where my brother lives, and then concludes with some fresh idea as was the strategy of the poem. Many of these poems that I'm reading, they do employ strategies of the sonnet form, which is not to say that they're rhymed or metered, but they have these kind of fractures and leaps and resolutions in them that are non-linear and that are enabled by I think, the sonnet form. Beach Walk. I found a baby shark on the beach. Seagulls had eaten his eyes. His throat was bleeding. Lying on shell and sand, he looked smaller than he was. The ocean had scraped his insides clean. When I poked his stomach, darkness rose up in him like black water. Later, I saw a boy, aroused and elated, beckoning from a dune. Like me, he was alone. Something tumbled between us, not quite emotion. I could see the pink interior flesh of his eyes. I got lost. Where am I, he asked, like a debt owed to death. I was pressing my face to its spear hafts. We fall, we fell, we are falling. Nothing mitigates it. The dark embryo bares its teeth, and we move on. So I think I'll read a couple newish poems. Never read them, so they might change. Well, I know they'll change. This is called At the Grave of Robert Lowell. One day last fall, on a beautiful, bright fall day, I drove up to New Hampshire, where Lowell is buried in a family cemetery in the woods. And I wanted to write something about it. So he has so many sonnets written for others, I thought I'd try and do the same. At the Grave of Robert Lowell. On this 10th day of November, I play Stravinsky and sip vodka from a paper cup, taking in the view. Tendrils twining, leaves rippling, guts absorbing nutrients, brains processing information. All of it is dust now. He, she, all of them lie under sod. Men and women no longer rivals in love. Bodies grow old and fester. History is like an impressionist painting, a variegated landscape of emotional colors. As night falls, owls, bats, and hedgehogs come out to hunt. I take joy in considering my generation. I rewrite to be read, though I blush acknowledging it. Scattered among imposing trees, the ancient and the modern intersect, spreading germs of death and happiness. I curl up in my fleece and drink. let's see, is Zhao here? This next poem, I don't know if Zhao is here. This next poem was inspired by a colleague of ours who has a little film, a scary film about a bird market called Red Dawn. So I wrote a poem called Red Dawn, which is a more personal poem, though the bird market inspired it. Mine is more like a chicken processing factory rather than a bird market. Red Dawn. The transfer is done in a dark room with a red light to keep them calm. Still, it's stressful, hanging upside down, when an electrical pulse shuts their hearts down and the plucking rubber fingers and mechanical rotary knife begin. The shackle line continually moving like sterile meditations on a life, or the sacrifices one makes for an enigmatic love. As their legs and thighs and wings are removed, their heads are pulled off in a channel, their hearts and livers preserved as edible offal. Even in death, will I want you still? Don't want, can have, can't have, want. Sometimes the empty languor of the present is almost unbearable. Worms, crickets, minnows. After the night, how do they recover so fully? Let's see, I think I'll read from my book now. Helen, you want my little water? Yeah. So the poems in this new book are kind of breaking away from the sonnet form, and they're kind of terser, more vertical, more taut, you might say. And I don't know that there's any difference in content. I think they're a little lighter, a little airier. This first poem is called Free Dirt. I wrote it after coming upon a sign driving around, coming upon a sign of some people giving away some free dirt. So it seemed to me like a marvelous trope for something. There's a little French line in it. My French accent is so bad, but it's Viens-tu du ciel profond, which is from Baudelaire's Hymn to Beauty, which is do you come from heaven, you might say. Free dirt. My house is mine. The choice of menu, the radio and television, the unpolished floors, the rumpled sheets. It's like being inside a roll-top desk. I have no maid who takes care of me. Sometimes during breakfast I speak French with a taxidermied wren. There is no debt between us. We listen to language tapes. Viens-tu du ciel profond. Always I hear a little oratorio inside my head. Moths have carried away my carpets like invisible pallbearers. I like invisibleness, except in the moon's strong, broad rays. Some nights I ask her paleness, will I be okay? I am weak and fruitless at night, like a piece of meat with eyes. but in the morning optimistic again, like a snowflake that has traveled many miles and many years to be admired on the kitchen pane. Alone, I guzzle and litter and urinate and shout, "Please do not wake me from this dream," making meals from discrete objects, a sweet potato, a jar of marmalade, a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc. Today, I saw a sign in majuscule for free dirt and thought, we all have chapters we'd rather keep unpublished, in which we get down with the swirl. The little wren perched on my finger weighs almost nothing, just nails and beak, but it gives me tiny moments here at my kitchen table, like a diaphanous chorus mewling something about love or the haze of love, a haze that makes me squint-eyed and sick if I think too much about it. What am I but this flensed syntax, sight and sound, in which my heart, not insulated yet, makes ripple effects down the line? This is a poem I wrote after seeing a show of textiles from Afghanistan. For about 30 years, all those floral patterns we think of in carpets have been replaced by grenades and rifles, missiles, helicopters, fighter jets. And that was really the seed for this poem called War Rug. The pony and the deer are trapped by tanks, and the lady with the guitar is sad beyond words. Hurtling across the sky, a missile has mistaken a vehicle for a helicopter, exploding in a ball of white flame. Upside-down birds, red specks of knotted wool, glow above the sideways trees. Hidden among plants, a barefooted boy waits, like the divine coroner, aiming an assault rifle at something, enjoying the attentions of a gray doggy. Or maybe he is already dead. I have never, this book is my 9th book, and I don't think I've ever dedicated poems to anyone at once, so I thought in this book I wanted to dedicate a couple poems to people. I think there are 4 or 5 in the book dedicated to folks I've known for a while that have been kind to me over the years. And this one is to Jamaica Kincaid. I don't know if she's here. But, oh, hey, Jamaica, I'm glad you're here. I'll never have this opportunity again because the 2 people I wanted to read these poems for are actually in the audience. So I'll feel I can go home and die now. Die with pleasure. This one is called The Bee. And I needn't say anything more. The Bee for Jamaica Kincaid. There's a bee dying slowly outside my window. He, she makes this awful buzzing sound, which grows longer as the end nears, I suppose. The mysterious process at work within him, her, is disturbing, like a warm, wet finger. Usually when you hear a bee, the sound dissipates as the bee flies away. But this is constant, so constant, I think, maybe this bee is stupidly in love with me. Or the buzzing is inside my head and will become over time a friend, a new kind that doesn't go away, even after lots of sex. My ear canal growing receptive, like a hard bud to light, or a vulva to the perfect relation. Would we know each other, I wonder, if our eyes met across a crowded room. I did not expect to meet this bee. What else could love be but lots of buzzing or hate? I think I'll read 3 more. The other night when I went home, 3 nights ago, there was a delivery from DHL, and I opened it up. I thought, what is this? It was from England. And I opened it up, and there was a can of sardines in the box. No indication it was a gift from someone, but it was just a can of English sardines in virgin olive oil. And this poem is called Sardines. So it must have some relation to that gift, but it hasn't revealed itself, the source, yet. I think it's a joke, a kind of practical joke of some kind. Sardines. Cutting a slit from the throat to vent and pulling out the innards, rinsing and stuffing the insides with lemon and thyme, wrapping the flesh in paper-thin prosciutto to keep it from falling apart, then creating a little oil slick to fire them up like naked figures harbored in my bed. I think I must draw a veil over the past. I must feel nothing in connection with it. But then standing there, eating forkfuls like white violets, pondering a sky dark with storm and rain, I also think, if I were a little sparrow, I'd fly straight to him. Just 2 left, and I'm finally relaxed. So, Sphere. This is another poem for my father, really. Sphere. Sir, I don't have no black tea, the waitress replied. So I ordered Black Label instead. It was summer, and the fragrant white flowers of the black locust had awakened like fairies or obscure matter. A black bear clothed in thorns made a mess of the bird feeder, where hungry black caps were a vision, and the black flies were biting energetically. Billy died of the Black Death, I shouldn't call it that, and hovered like a winged horseman. There's nothing so wrong as when young folks die. I smashed my bike, blacked out, and got 2 black eyes. At the Mayo Clinic, Daddy had his arteries cleared, praising the surgeon's fine black hands. After he died, we called everyone in his black book and found a black space that couldn't be lifted by impotent wings. Like me, he was the black sheep. There were struggles. Once, driving near Black Mountain, he blurted, "There ain't nothing so good as stolen corn or watermelon." His face was like a smiling black spider's. Questioning the earth from which he came, "Son, you got mixed blood," and that drew him back. He cleared a way forward into the murky light. Beside the roadside blacktop, a deer with black diamonds in its eyes lay in a bed of black pansies. Around us, black ash and black walnuts made a velvety curtain. Dead 10 years, he visits me often, like a head behind bars with that black temper and black bile still coming out of his mouth, but tenderness, too, like black gold. Did I love him back, I wonder? If I loved him with all my heart and all my liver, why did I spit him in the river? This last poem I'm going to read is dedicated to Helen Wendler. It's the last poem in my book. When I first was hired here at Briggs Copeland 21 years ago, Helen was on the committee that hired me. The Constant Leaf. I wish my father was here. His features were calm and striking, even when his breaths were horrible. Remote, pale yellow sunlight behind a screen of clouds. Landscape in darkness. Rain comes straight down in dense strands that cover the street with rain froth. The trees are so full, it makes everything seem constant but fragile, as if any moment could be the last. All the news is the same news. Somebody bombing somebody, somebody cheating somebody, somebody hurting the one he loves. So we talk about forgiveness in a low-key, unabashed way. Forgive me for the errors of my youth. Forgive me for the fatal, incurable virus that caused your blindness. Forgive me for the stinger that blew up your tenement. The wind tears a power line from a pole, sparking a transformer, and the brick pavement is saturated like mud. When I close my eyes and hold my breath, I can stay in one place, detoxifying experience like a kidney. It's strange how the past holds on to us, how the rapture of the lonely shore is agreeable only if we can at any moment escape it, and how the night feels so indispensable, soothing. On the television at the white-domed Capitol, a white man in a white room lifts his glass of white wine. I'm always searching the faces of strangers for a friend. Thank you very much.